Front row MMA here at FCC6 with Ben, and I'm going to get this wrong, Ben Dearden.
Yeah.
5-1 now.
Yes.
Fight of the night performance. Tell me, what was it like in that cage tonight?
It was incredible. It's great to come back to FCC and have such a great fight like that, especially after losing in the first round to Joshua Jarvis, the current featherweight champion. And it was an honour to fight someone like Javonne, especially coming back. I hope I do get fight of the night. I was a bit disappointed in my performance in the last round. Maybe I was a little bit tired, but that's just because he's such a strong person. It was such a fast back and forward fight. Such a great way to come back.
You know, the first couple of rounds, it seemed like it was a case of some really nice boxing versus Muay Thai. And you're leading in, you're coming in with stepping uppercuts and some wide stepping hooks. Is that what you train for? It's almost very Diaz, brother, your style of boxing.
Well, I do like a lot of the Diaz stuff. I also like a lot of Dominic Cruz, his footwork and stuff like that. Footwork was actually the key to this fight. Sean told me, said, you've got to keep moving, because if someone like him gets older, you're in deep trouble. I had to stay away for his power.
Was that the game plan all along, to use movement, footwork, and again, you obviously had a bit of a reach advantage. Was that going to be the plan?
Basically, yeah, that was the plan. Also, switching backwards and forwards. I'm actually an unorthodox fighter. I'm left-handed, and I've always trained right-handed, and Sean's encouraged me to try and mix the two, because I am naturally left-handed, and I thought he would confuse his wrestling as well. It was all about staying away from what he's really good at, is dominating you on the ground, and you could see that in the second round. I couldn't get back up because of the power shots he was throwing.
You know, 5-1 as an amateur now. How many more fights can we expect to see you fighting amateur before you decide perhaps it's time to take that step into the professional ranks?
Well, I don't make them decisions. Sean Hammer Marty makes them. And if he said I'm going pro tomorrow, I'll go pro tomorrow. But I can only assume I'll have maybe 2, maybe 3 more fights at this weight class. I don't know how you're going to fight someone at a higher caliber than Javonne and have a fight like that, but I'm going to aim high and aim strong.
Is there any temptation to work towards a rematch for that title, or
against Joshua?
Yeah.
No, not really. I think the bantamweight division is my home now, and I'm going to stay there. I've got no reason to fight Josh. He beat me fair and square. He's a great guy as well. I'm very good friends with him online now, and I wish all the best to him. It's a pity that Joe Naz didn't make weight. I think it was, not putting it out there, it was a bit silly not to make that weight, but I applaud Josh for not taking that fight, because it was the right thing to do.
Now, you say 2 or 3 more fights at least. How often? When can we expect to see you back in a cage?
I'm fighting next month, hopefully, on Darren Sherlock's Expo. It's always a pleasure to work with Darren Sherlock. He's a gentleman, and he's a great businessman, and he's going places, and I'm happy to fight under his banner.
One of the things I've asked all the fighters so far, because this was certainly my first time at an FCC, and it's a phenomenal venue with a pretty loud crowd. How does it feel fighting here and for a crowd like that?
You don't get much better than the FCC crowd, in all fairness. It's such a massive crowd as well. I can only assume there's over 2,500 people in here, and you hear every single one of them screaming, and it actually helps the fighters keep going. You do feel that energy in the room, definitely.
Also, your camp has had a fairly good night so far. You know, yeah. How much pressure is there fighting for a team that that thrives on winning? Is it a case of the performance, or is the win that much more important?
No, the performance is more important than the win. Hammer. They say if you win big or you lose big, that's the way you go forward, and that's the way I was aiming in the fight. That's why I was throwing with technically reckless abandonment against such a dangerous opponent.
Well, it was a phenomenal fight, and as we've said already, and we'll say again, certainly our fight of the night so far. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Any sponsors you'd like to thank, or anyone you'd like to name?
I've totally forgotten my sponsors, because it's the first time I've ever had sponsors. SP Security Contractors.
Excellent.
And I want to thank Sean Hammer for inviting me into his home, not his gym. And I want to say a big thank to my cousin Chris Boone, who died recently, and that fight was for him. That's why I came in the Liverpool top, and that one was for him.
It was a phenomenal performance. Thank you ever so much for your time. We look forward to seeing you fight again.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.